Morning light brushes across the pink granite shores of Georgian Bay, where white pines lean into the wind and the air smells of pine resin and cold water. Scattered islands stretch toward the horizon like pieces of a vast puzzle. This is Ontario, 415,000 square miles of Canadian wilderness, stretching from the Great Lakes all the way to Hudson Bay. From Manitoba's rugged border to the edge of Quebec's deep forests, this is a land defined by water and carved by time. Most people know the gleaming skyline of Toronto or the thunder of Niagara Falls, but the province's real heart lies between those landmarks, in the quiet harbors, the sleeping forests, and the forgotten lakes that don't make it to postcards. Here, ancient rivers cut through billion-year-old rock. Lakes fill the scars left behind by glaciers 12,000 years ago. Every town, every harbor, every trail tells the story of water meeting stone, of nature shaping civilization. This journey explores the Ontario that most travelers never see. Fishing harbors that still whisper stories of the last big storm. Small towns built from their own bedrock. Vast forests that stretch for days. And yes, the famous places too, seen from angles where the crowds don't go. Let's explore what makes this province not just a place on a map, but a living landscape. Niagara Falls, the thundering waters. Every journey through Ontario should begin where its story first captured the world's attention. Niagara Falls. 6 million cubic feet of water surge over the edge every minute, crashing into the river below with a roar that seems to shake the earth itself. The falls formed 12,000 years ago, sculpted by retreating glaciers and flowing Great Lakes, and they're still moving, slowly eroding backward through bedrock at about 30 centimeters a year. On the Canadian side, the Horseshoe Falls stretch an immense 670 meters across, their mist rising hundreds of feet into the sky. When sunlight hits the spray, rainbows shimmer and twist across the churning blue-green water. At night, colored lights transform the scene into a dreamscape. The thunder becomes a hum, the mist glows with color, and for a moment, nature feels like art. Long before explorers or tourists arrived, indigenous peoples called this place Onguiara, the Thundering Waters, recognizing its spirit long before it had a name on any European map. Even now, standing at the edge, the sound and vibration connect you to something eternal. Niagara Falls isn't just a destination. It's a reminder of power, movement, and time itself. Toronto, a city of stories. Follow the highway north, and the noise of water becomes the rhythm of the city. Toronto, Canada's largest city, hums with life. Nearly half its residents were born outside the country, creating one of the most diverse urban centers on Earth. Walk its streets, and every block changes language. Over 140 tongues weave through conversations. English, Mandarin, Punjabi, Arabic, Spanish, Farsi. Each adds its own color to Toronto's constant reinvention. The CN Tower, once the world's tallest freestanding structure, pierces the skyline. Visitors stand on glass floors 342 meters above the ground, looking straight down into the heart of the city. For the truly fearless, the Edge Walk lets adventurers circle the outer rim of the tower, suspended by a single harness above the skyline. At street level, the city pulses with creativity. Broadway-level productions light up King Street each night in the entertainment district. The Distillery District, once the largest whiskey producer in the British Empire, now houses art studios, cafes, and cobblestone charm. Along the waterfront, new parks replace old factories, while ferries carry visitors to the Toronto Islands for views of the skyline reflected in the lake. Toronto is always moving, always reshaping itself. A city built from countless stories, each still being written. St. Catharines, the Garden City. Leaving Toronto behind, the road curves back toward the Niagara Peninsula. St. Catharines calls itself the Garden City, and the name fits perfectly. Over 1,000 acres of parkland bloom here from April through October. Sitting between two Great Lakes gives the region a unique climate, warm enough for vineyards, orchards, and the sweet scent of peaches and cherries in summer. The old Welland Canal once ran through the city's core, carrying schooners and steamships across the peninsula. When shipping moved to a newer canal, St. Catharines turned the old waterway into a peaceful recreational corridor. Now people jog and cycle where freighters once passed, and the lock walls that guided ships now frame cafes and patios. In winter, Martindale Pond freezes over, transforming from a rowing course into a mirror of ice and mist. Skaters trace loops through the morning fog, a quiet scene that captures Ontario's seasonal poetry. Welland, the Canal City. The story of Ontario's waterways continues in Welland, where the Welland Canal lifts ships 327 feet between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. 8 enormous locks replace what Niagara Falls makes impossible, a navigable link between 2 great lakes. At Lock 3, visitors stand eye level with massive freighters as 30,000 tons of steel rise like an elevator, powered only by gravity and water. It takes about 45 minutes for a ship to pass through. As water flows in, gates close and the vessel slowly ascends. Watching it happen feels like witnessing the province's heartbeat, the engineering brilliance that made modern Canada possible. The same waterways that once carried fur traders now carry global trade, connecting Ontario to oceans beyond. Oakville, where the lake meets community. Between Mississauga and Hamilton, Oakville maintains its small-town charm despite its growing size. In Kerr Village, buildings stay low, tree canopies arch above the streets, and the walk to the harbor takes just minutes. 16 Mile Creek cuts a deep green valley through town, where salmon leap upstream each autumn. Crowds gather along Lions Valley Park to watch nature's annual spectacle playing out in the middle of suburbia. At Bronte Harbor, sailboats rock gently within the breakwater, and the lighthouse still guides vessels home. The contrast between nature's rhythm and human design feels effortless here, a balance perfected over generations. Cheltenham Badlands, the Red Earth. Northwest of Toronto, the landscape takes a sudden turn into the surreal. The Cheltenham Badlands ripple across the earth in shades of red and brown. Bare hills and sharp ridges that look more like Mars than Ontario. Erosion exposed the Queenston Shale beneath the soil in the 1930s after poor farming practices stripped the land. Decades later, the result is a striking reminder of both nature's power and humanity's impact. The Badlands sit within the Caledon Hills, where the Niagara Escarpment weaves a patchwork of rivers, cliffs, and valleys. The nearby Credit River runs cold and clear, its waters alive with wild trout. Along the Bruce Trail, hikers follow this ancient ridge for hundreds of miles, from Niagara all the way to Tobermory. Tobermory, where land ends and water begins. At the northern tip of the Bruce Peninsula, the land finally runs out. Tobermory, a small harbor town surrounded by 2 bays, guards the gateway between Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. The water here is so clear that you can see rocks 40 feet below the surface. Waves carve the grotto, a sea cave filled with glowing turquoise water that shifts color with the sun. Bruce Peninsula National Park protects 60 square miles of cliffs, forest, and rugged shoreline. The trail along the Niagara Escarpment passes through ancient cedar forests before opening onto views of limestone bluffs plunging straight into Georgian Bay. Nearby, Fathom 5 National Marine Park preserves 22 shipwrecks, wooden hulls from the 1800s visible through crystal water. Even after a century, their outlines remain ghostly reminders of how unpredictable these waters once were. Muskoka and Algonquin, lakes and legends. Inland from Georgian Bay, the lakes of Muskoka glisten like mirrors between pine forests. Lake Muskoka, Lake Rousseau, and Lake Joseph connect through rivers and man-made cuts, forming a network of calm water beloved by cottagers. Glaciers carve these hollows, filling them with pristine water that remains so pure many locals still drink it directly from the lake. In summer, boats glide between cottages tucked among granite outcrops. Beyond Muskoka's edge lies Algonquin Provincial Park, 2,900 square miles of wilderness, larger than Prince Edward Island. With over 2,000 lakes accessible, mostly by canoe, it's a world of loons, wolves, and quiet reflection. On autumn nights, real wolves call across the valleys, long, wavering cries that remind travelers this is still true wilderness. Manitoulin Island, the heart of the lake. Out on Lake Huron, Manitoulin Island stretches nearly 100 miles, the largest freshwater island on Earth. Surrounded by deep blue waters and dotted with quiet communities, it feels like a world apart. Winding roads pass through forests and farmland, opening to glimpses of tranquil bays and cliffs like Whitefish Falls, where water cascades through a maze of lakes and rivers. From above, the island seems endless, a mosaic of rock, trees, and sky. Manitoulin's charm lies in its rhythm. Time moves slower here. Nature sets the pace and everything feels connected. Land, water, and the people who call it home. Ottawa, the capital on the river. Upstream, where two rivers meet, stands Ottawa, the capital of Canada. Chosen by Queen Victoria in 1857 for its strategic location, the city rose from a lumber town into a center of democracy and culture. The Gothic spires of Parliament Hill dominate the skyline, their copper roofs glowing green against gray stone. Below, the Rideau Canal winds through downtown, a 202-kilometer engineering masterpiece now listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In summer, boats drift lazily through its locks. In winter, it freezes into the world's largest natural skating rink, stretching 8 kilometers through the heart of the city. Across the river in Quebec, Gatineau Park offers a wilderness escape, 361 square kilometers of forest, lakes, and lookouts. From Champlain Lookout, the view of the Ottawa Valley unfolds like a painting, the city below framed by endless green. Ottawa balances history and nature in a way few capitals do, dignified, peaceful, and profoundly Canadian. Lake Ontario, the endless inland sea. Every path leads back to the water. Lake Ontario, though the smallest of the Great Lakes, is a world unto itself. 7,340 square miles of inland sea, reaching depths of 802 feet. Its cold waters preserve the remains of centuries-old ships resting quietly on the bottom. Along its northern edge, the Scarborough Bluffs rise 300 feet above the lake, cliffs of sand and clay slowly eroding back into the water. Farther east, Prince Edward County juts into the lake, home to Sandbanks Provincial Park, where towering dunes form the largest freshwater sand dune system on Earth. In autumn, the grasses turn golden, the sky deepens, and the lake glows with light. Here at Ontario's southern edge, everything comes full circle. Water, rock, and sky merging in endless motion. Ontario is more than cities and postcards. It's a land of contrasts, granite and limestone, wild forests and living towns, roaring falls and silent coves. It's where ancient rock meets modern life, where rivers still shape the land, and where people continue to find home in nature's rhythm. The province's beauty isn't just in its famous landmarks, but in the hidden corners, the quiet lakes, the forgotten harbors, the trails through mist and pine. These are the places where the crowds don't go, and that's where the real Ontario waits. If this journey through Ontario inspired you to look beyond the postcards, share this video with someone who loves discovering the world's hidden corners. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next adventure. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Maybe the next journey will explore your part of the world. Until then, keep exploring, keep wondering, and remember, sometimes the most extraordinary places are just beyond where everyone else stops.